Hello, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Today is Tuesday, February 14th, and it is, let's just say it's like 5:36 p.m., somewhere in there. I hope you guys are having a great Valentine's Day. Sitting here with my baby. Oh, she's so sweet. With her, I made her a new string toy, so she's like, as long as she gets to sleep with her string toy, she's super happy. And I got some new Valentine's Day PJs that are like so soft and silky, perfect. But yeah, things have been great. I've been doing a lot of self-care, still staying up on the no soda, drinking water and kombucha, and trying to cranberry juice for my kidneys. I've been taking passion flower, which I really love. Really heart opening, but like in a really soft, kind of feminine way. Passion flower, so obviously it helps to ignite like the heart's passion for things that it's creatively drawn to, basically. But yeah, and it's also a heart protective, so I've been taking passion flower and I really like that. And I've just been doing a lot of self-care, really like trying to get ready for Valentine's Day, in that, like, by Valentine's Day, I wanted to be at a point where I loved myself the way that I would want someone to love me. So like, staying on my running. I'm down to 1 cigarette a day, so that's a hard one. I've been kind of slightly, I wouldn't say bitchy, actually. I've actually been handling it well, but like just little like hints of like panic at times when I realize that I'm actually quitting smoking and I don't have that like excuse to go step out and take a break, and clear my mind. I have to like do the little healthy behaviors and healthy walks and stuff without the like negative vice to entice me, which is really just the weird games we have to play with ourselves to get ourselves well, and healthy and happy. And it's just interesting, how the mind works so unconsciously so often for so many of us. And when we really try to alter our habits or behaviors is when we really notice maybe how unconscious some of those things are. So let's see what we got today for Valentine's Day. 4 of Cups. Wow, interesting. So in the traditional tarot, this is an interesting one, because whenever I see a rat or a mouse or whatever, I'm the year of the rat in Chinese astrology, so I'm always like, oh, interesting. But 4 of Cups can sometimes signify, especially like in the traditional tarot, where we have opportunities or offers, but we're kind of complacent or stuck in previous patterns or maybe previous ways of seeing things, perceiving things, and new opportunities, when looked at from a previous mindset or maybe an outworn or an outgrown mindset, they can either be seen like, as just like opportunities that we're not interested in, or opportunities that we're not ready for. And so there can be like a little bit of like, I don't know, toddler energy with this card, I think. Let's see what the Unknown Tarot says about it. Toddler energy, as in like the toddler wanted like macaroni and cheese and you have like fish sticks or chicken nuggets or something, like, and like the toddler is like, no, I am like not eating until I can eat macaroni and cheese or whatever, whatever the analogy is. But that's, when I see that card in the traditional tarot, it reminds me of like an adult that is kind of regressing emotionally, just situationally, or for whatever the card pull is for, in kind of processing things in the way a toddler would. The traditional tarot always makes me kind of giggle when I see that card. But then let's see what the Unknown Tarot is saying about this 4 of Cups. So it's usually like what, 2 cups up, one spilt, and then one being a cup that's being handed from the heavens. That's on the traditional deck. That's the imagery. So let's see what the unknown tarot says about it, because I like these little paragraphs. Okay, greed and discontent. So, you know, when you take my other analogy in the traditional tarot card, you know, greed and discontent. But, you know, like if you were to look at the Four of Cups traditionally, you could see where even a toddler's mindset, you know, like, and this is all, you know, children are children. I'm talking about when an adult has this kind of mindset about certain things. You know, it can be like your mind is set on something, even if there are other possibilities that are opening before you. And that can be, you know, you really never know, like, if that can be a good or bad thing, depending. So greed and discontent is what the unknown tarot is saying. And it says, an outsider would look upon your life and see supportive relationships, pleasures, and even a bit of luxury. But you don't see it that way. Instead, there's discontentment, apathy, and greed for more. The Four of Cups warns not to take your situation for granted or the people who supported you along the way. Look around you. What are you truly longing for? And name it. So, yeah, like, you know, figuring out where, you know, holding the ability to be grateful, you know, like I might not be in like some, you know, Lifetime movie romance right now, but like, you know, I am filled with self-love on Valentine's Day, and I have the love of my parents actually were married on Valentine's Day, and I was in the belly when they were married. So Valentine's Day holds a special place in my heart because that was the beginning and the origins of my family, and my potential to have a little brother, which, you know, who I adore. So, you know, being grateful and not taking for granted what we have and the opportunities that we have. I mean, I think that goes a really long way in kind of averting some of the more negative connotations with the Four of Cups. And you can always, like, you know, if you want, you can always go, and Biddy Tarot is one of the translation websites that I really like. If you want to ever kind of Google the meanings for these cards or do your own research, I just like the Wild Unknown. I like their kind of spin on it and their imagery, but you can find a lot about these cards. And I feel like the last reading I did before that Leo full moon, what a doozy, you know, like I feel that that card reading was very appropriate for how the last couple weeks have been. So, you know, beautiful. And it was a great reading. And so this card is upright. And I wanted to say, like, after that Leo full moon, since the Leo full moon, I think on the 5th, and it was around 16 degrees Leo, which is conjunct my Venus. But my cat, I don't know if you can tell, but my cat has been scratching the shit out of my hands. Oh my goodness. Like, just really rambunctious, wanting to play a lot, which is great. That's why I made her this new toy. She loves it. Oh, she has a basket of toys that I've purchased for her that she could care less about. But if I make things out of things that I'm working with my art projects and stuff, because she wants to be so involved with all that, like, she loves it. So that will keep her busy for at least a little while. Okay, so let's see. Four of Cups, upright. That's our first card for Valentine's Day. Being grateful. Oh, another 4. Oh, we're getting some 4 energy coming through. And it is also upright. And this is the 4 of Pentacles. And both of these cards, interestingly enough, carry this vibe of like selfishness or self-centeredness or in like an immaturity of emotional intelligence or emotional awareness. So like both of these cards, and I'll read you the Unknown Tarot one, or the Wild Unknown translation, but both of these cards being fours, the Four of Wands is a completely different, got a different frequency altogether. But these two, you know, they're pretty heavy cards. Four of Swords too, I believe, is pretty. So all these three suits, all of them besides the Four of Wands have kind of like this very self-indulgent vibe that's like inhibitory or whatever. So it's like preventing you from seeing either gifts or graciousness or ways to be more grateful and carry more gratitude in your being and in yourself, which brings more joy inherently, no matter what is presented to us. And I'll go ahead and read this one, but the Four of Pentacles, from what I understand, is a lot of self-indulgence and maybe like a selfishness or a greedy energy, like the Four of Cups was saying. And it's just interesting because it's Valentine's Day and this kind of greeting card holiday that as we understand it as everyday Americans, that can bring up a lot, that can trigger people that are maybe not in the most loving relationships or don't have what is sold to us is the ideal for like a Valentine's Day date or whatever. So that it's interesting to me that these are the cards being pulled, because that we could have so much in our lives and feel so empty just because of the time. These cultural constraints or these like Americanized holidays or whatever, they do affect us, like on a subconscious level, on a conscious level. For a lot of people, it's just another day. But, I remember when I was in school, man, like Valentine's Day was a big deal. Like Valentine's Day was a very big deal. And doing our little cards. I mean, if we did like hand-drawn cards and things like that, I think people would just get a lot more joy, and maybe giving cards to their neighbors as like just a common practice, like handwritten notes or things that we like about one another, things that we're appreciative about one another. I think that could go a long way. Who knows, maybe the future of holidays. But all right, back to the tarot. Sorry, I'm feeling a little ADD today. I mean, I'm feeling ADD every day, but some days are worse than others, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, Four of Pentacles, possession and control. So the other words were greed. The first card was greed and discontent. And these words for this Four of Pentacles is possession and control. So kind of like along the same vibe there. The Four of Pentacles first suggests material gain and stability. Only good news for your bank account and home. Yet underneath the surface, this is a card of a warning. Do not become possessive or controlling. Holding on too tightly to the material world will leave you rigid, stagnant, and displeasing to others. Wealth is a concept. And I 100% believe that. Wealth is definitely a concept and an energy in itself that you carry with you. Like if you are a rich, bright, vibrant, and beautiful soul, you will carry yourself in a way that material money can't really even like hold a candle to. Meaning like soul richness is the difference between like old money and new money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I vibe on that because my South Node is in my second house of wealth and material possessions. So I personally think that I've had a lot of lifetimes of working very hard and really putting a lot of stock and energy into material possessions. And it's not to say that I don't now, but I definitely have with my North Node being in the 8th house, I definitely have a totally different value system on how material, material wealth and things like that are an important, but they're not a measure of what I value in other people and what I find to be of value in general. People might disagree with me on that, but that's my personal perspective from my karmic experiences and lifetimes. So that's just the place I'm coming from, no matter what I actually, what I actually physically can call my possessions. It just seems like such a limited life experience that I don't feel I could settle for. Although I do love having my little space and the things that I have worked hard for, and been blessed with. I definitely appreciate those material things. But both of these cards are definitely kind of carrying with them the energy of a sense of lack when that may or may not be the case. So, checking in to see how you're carrying yourself and the energy that you're exuding and radiating out. Is it from a place of gratitude, continuous gratitude, constant gratitude, and whatever you have to do in your mind and in your being to, essentially like use your imagination and your daydreaming ability to picture things differently and see how you would feel, so like that way you don't have to actually go through experiences to know that what you already have is of the utmost value. And that kind of presence and that kind of like expression out is going to like attracts like and draws it in, so that expression is going to radiate out and bring that back to you, or at least meet you on that level. And if you are not getting met on that level, then also understand the world is where it is, and there's not a whole lot of people at the tops of these mountains, if you know what I'm saying, and there's always more mountains and always more ridges, and there will be at times less and less people present with you when you get to these consciousness spaces. And what is that good old saying that I love so much? Chop wood and carry water, and that is that way in between these peak emotional, social, spiritual, physical, financial, psychic experiences that we have, that our default is a stable, steady, solid, benevolent, beautiful, comfortable, safe place inside ourselves. And that is, at least for me, what, where I'm working at. And these are good reminders, to stay on those paths and not harbor a sense of possessiveness or control over situations, especially with how drastically the world is changing right now. And let me go ahead and pull this final card for you out of the wild unknown. Ooh, Daughter of Wands. Cool. Visionary experiences. And that, even pulling these cards, like I felt a definite sense of, imagery and things coming into my mind's eye, and kind of even inspiration from some of what the negative connotations are. So anyways, I also want to note that all three of these cards are upright, which again, forward energy. The last set we did during the Leo full moon on February 5th was also upright, all three. So, less blockages, which I think we can all appreciate that, Okay, let me get to this freaking page here. Okay, Mother of Wands, Daughter of Wands. Okay, visionary and passionate. The Daughter of Wands is a free spirit, truly visionary creature. She usually waits until later to settle down or start a family. and as she's busy with her career. She can be stubborn and much stronger than she looks. As with all the Wands family, the daughter makes a dangerous enemy. This card can also represent a woman going through a transformation or spiritual breakthrough. And I think, yes, and I think that a lot of women are going through transformations and spiritual breakthroughs right now. And I wholeheartedly support that, and I wholeheartedly hold space for that. For things to be seen as clear as they need to, and for your self-knowledge and your self-discovery, self-uncovering and discovery to inform you more and more, to allow you to be safe in your own energy, which is something that I've been discovering has been amazing. The more and more I come into a place of learning to trust myself and trust my own energy and the safety that I feel in my own energy and my own intention, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's awesome. Those are good cards for Valentine's Day, especially the Daughter of Wands, the visionary. And then completion for our chakra cards, our chakra cards. So this is orange sacral chakra. So this is perfect for Valentine's Day, because it is, you know, the sexual organs and the libido energy, and it's saying that we've reached a completion at that level in some capacity, which, you know, maybe that involves like getting, you know, being more intimate with yourselves, being more intimate with your partner, being maybe even getting into something that came to mind because of Valentine's Day is like tantric energy, you know, working with tantric energy with your partner, which is a fluidity of intimacy that doesn't necessarily need physical touch. And that's something that came to mind, even though the imagery of this card, you know, depicts something very different. It's like a completion, or this is a funeral, but this is like a completion. Doesn't necessarily have to be a physical death. It can be a completion of a cycle of mental ruminating, or a cycle of mental conundrums, mental emotional conundrums that we find ourselves in, or, you know, going through the shadow sides of ourselves, and reaching a completion, you know, for that, which I think is really interesting. So I'm just going to read this real quick. The final sunset. Life comes to a spectacular close. The legend is, he was raised in an orphanage and never wore new boots until he enlisted in the army in 1942. By the end of the war, he was a decorated veteran and had survived what many brothers had not. Later, he had become an actor. He was very well loved, but history will remember him as a war hero. When he was finally laid to rest, Goddess smiled upon him as she received him into the heavens. So that is a beautiful legend with this card. I like that a lot. And then it says the inspiration is, this is a reminder to cherish all the beauty in your life, including endings. Reflect upon your part in history and discover what you value most. Do not fear completion, embrace it. And then it says personal inquiry is, am I present in the moment? Am I present in this moment? How do I respond to the idea of completion? And those are awesome. Like, those are awesome prompts, even like for a journal entry. You know, like, am I present in this moment? How do I respond to the idea of completion? And then key ideas: honoring your legacy, a natural ending to a grand adventure, a new beginning on the horizon, a new adventure, honoring those who give to us. And then the key words for this card are achievement, determination, and fulfillment. Nice. And then the meditation is, allow all your feelings about endings to come to you, whatever they may be. Do you fear them or rejoice in them? Do some journaling to find clarity here. So Yeah, I mean, this is beautiful. I had a dream earlier this week when Mercury and Pluto were conjunct about a loved one, my high school sweetheart, who I thought who I was engaged to, and I thought for sure I was going to marry. And he ended up passing away from a brain tumor, but before I came out to Seattle. But he visits me a lot in my dreams and just in my daydreams or in my walks and things like that. And so I'm going to meditate a lot on that and just see how that plays out. So yeah, very cool. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And I want to say a very happy anniversary to my mother and my father in heaven. My mother on earth and my father in heaven. Um, their wedding anniversaries today, and I'm very happy that they were married and that we had our little family. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day 2023, and I will be on with you soon.